when he asked me for my number, I was like, thank you, God. Like, this can only be fate. So to celebrate me closing the door on my CNA career, since my certificate expired like last month, I decided to go ahead and share another story from that time. And honestly, the story isn't going to be directly about my job working there, but it is a pretty significant like background of the story. So this was 2 years ago when I was working as a CNA in my sophomore year, and I would go and work like 1 weekend a month. I came in one morning and I saw this man who I have never seen before like in my life. And y'all, he was so fine. Like he was dark skinned, he had tattoos, and like he wore these glasses. And I honestly thought that he was just one of those like travel CNAs who would come in and help when it was short and then leave by like 11 a.m. But he came up to me and he was like, hello, my name is, I actually don't remember his name, but we're gonna call him Brian for the sake of the video. He came up to me and said, hello, my name is Brian. I believe in teamwork on the unit, and if you need any help, just let me know. And I hope that you're willing to do the same whenever I need help. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, of course. So then I go about my business, and sooner or later I am in need of some coworker assistance. So I'm like, let me go ahead and get Brian, since he's so willing to extend a helping hand. So I think I probably needed help transferring someone into a wheelchair. I usually need help with this resident because she is kind of heavy set, but it's whatever. So yeah, I go get him and I'm like, hey, can you help me transfer such and such to her wheelchair? And he's like, oh yeah, I'll be there in a second. And then he comes in her room and then he helps me out and stuff. And then that's when we start like talking and like doing a lot of like small talk and just getting to know each other. So then he's telling me that he had just completed his LPN program and he is about to take the NCLEX. And at that point, I think that I had just taken my T's, which is like the nursing entrance exam. So I was like so excited to finally be with someone who I could like have a casual conversation with, because usually I'm working with like middle-aged other women and we don't really have like much in common, so I just never really like held conversations at work. So honestly, I was talking my head off, plus he was fine, so I was just doing a lot of talking. So we spend that entire day just kind of helping each other out and going from room to room and just doing a lot of talking, getting to know each other and everything. And I'm like, this man might just be my husband. Like, I just know it. Like, it's fate. He's already like about to take the NCLEX. Like, this is a sign from God. But towards the end of the day, he's like, oh, my parents are having this little going away party for me, and I was just wondering if you wanted to go. And honestly, when he asked me that, I kind of felt like that was kind of weird, because like, why are you inviting me to go to your house? Like, you only just met me, plus like it's something that your family has put together for you, so it would just be awkward for me to like invade. Plus it's at your house, so it could just all be some type of setup. So I was like, damn, am I really that charming and friendly and likable that you really thought that you really felt comfortable with inviting me to something like that? But honestly, I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. I'm obviously not gonna go because that's weird. And then he was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Could I get your number so that we could like continue talking or whatever? And y'all, when he asked me for my number, I was like, thank you, God. Like, this can only be fate. This is, this is, this can only be fate. Like, this has got to be my husband. Then I gave him my number, and then he like texted me immediately, I guess, to confirm if I gave him the right number. I mean, of course I gave him the right number. So then I went home after that shift. So when I was going home, I saw him like walking a couple of blocks away. I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought that he probably lives in the vicinity of the nursing home. So I was like, wow, that's kind of convenient. So the next day, it's a Sunday, I'm like doing my hair. I'm like laying my edges, because usually I just be going into work looking any type of way because I really don't care. It's like, it's just so much work that I don't really care about how I look at the job. But this time, this is when I had my little TWA, so I was like, let me go ahead and wash my hair, define the curls, let me lay my edges or whatever. So then I go into work, I clock in, and then I get started with getting people up for the day. And I'm just waiting on my man to show up. And then he comes in, and then he sees me, and then he says, I like your hair. And I was like, another W in the books. Another W in the books. So he's on my same unit, and we're working together like we did the day before. And we're working, and we're talking, getting to know each other, all that good stuff. Then he asked me, like, in the middle of the day, he's like, hey, so I was wondering if you wanted to like hang out anytime this week. And I was like, well, I kind of have to go back to school. And then he was like, oh, it's okay, I'll Uber. I was like, huh? So this man was willing to take a 45 to an hour, probably longer than that depending on the traffic, ride in an Uber to come and see me. That was a little bit weird too, because it's like, you must really want something from me, so I'll make note of that. Too, the biggest realization was that you ain't got no car. And I really hate to be that person, but if we're gonna continue interacting, that's gonna be a little bit of a problem, because I'm already seeing like how it's looking for me, and it's looking like chauffeur. It's giving chauffeur a little bit. So yeah, we finish up the day and we're packing up and we're getting ready to go. And then he's like, oh, well, Wednesday is a good day for me. And if that's a good day for you too. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm available on Wednesday. So I just kind of felt like, you know what, even though the attraction isn't really there anymore, we can still be good friends. Like, he's about to be an LPN. He could be a really good resource for me. I mean, not to say that I would only like use him for that specific reason, but I could have some nursing friends. I'm open to it. And then just as we're about to leave, this man asked me, oh, could you do me a favor? And I'm like, yeah, sure, what is it? And then he's like, could you drive me to my bus stop? I'm like, dude, how far is it? Like, I feel like one thing that you should know about me is I really don't like driving. It's very nerve-wracking for me. It gives me anxiety. I start sweating. It's like, it's just very uncomfortable for me. After like all of these years, I started driving at like 17, and like I just now got comfortable driving on the highway. Like, I just don't like driving. And then the anxiety intensifies when I have to drive other people around, because it's like, I'm not only responsible for myself, but I'm responsible like for this person. Plus, like, if if you are ever in my car, like, we have to be like this. Like, so you can imagine my mood when he asked me that. So then I was like, you know what, let me just suck it up. Like, this man has made my weekend working here very pleasant, and let me just go ahead and do this man a solid just this once. So like, as I'm driving this man to his bus stop, I can just feel the chauffeur cap like ascending on my head. I could feel the white gloves on my fingers. I could feel the chauffeur jacket resting on my shoulder. And I was just like, this could potentially be my role in this relationship. And like, over in the passenger seat, he's like, oh, your car smells really nice. He's like shuffling around in his backpack. He takes his scrub top off and like changes into like a tank top or whatever. And I'm like, okay, nigga, you getting a little bit too comfortable in the passenger seat. So we finally make it to the bus stop, and then it's like at this intersection, I'm at a red light, and he's like, oh, okay, you can just drop me off. Like, oh, you can just drop me off here. And I'm like, okay, bye. And as he's getting out, he's like, so Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday. And y'all, on my drive home, I'm so pissed off because like, I'm already knowing how Wednesday is gonna go. It's either one, he's gonna ask me to pick him up and do whatever we decide to do that day. Two, he actually takes an Uber to wherever we decide to go, and then he's going to ask me to take him back to his house or whatever. Or three, one of the more favorable scenarios of mine, either I or he's gonna come up with an excuse so that we don't meet up on Wednesday. And guess what happened, y'all? Because I am God's child and he loves me and he cares for me, I got a text from him and he said, oh, I don't think that I can do Wednesday. There's something wrong with my bank or something like that. And when he sent me that, I'm like, thank you, God. Because not only did I dodge one bullet, I dodged two. And I will just forever be grateful for God's guidance on my life. And yeah, I don't think that he ever like texted me again after that, and I was definitely okay with that. That was one of my little CNA stories from the past. I hope that it was entertaining for you, just as it was as entertaining for me to tell. I honestly, like, I totally forgot about it until like a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, this could be really entertaining for YouTube. So yeah, if you like that story, you should give this video a like and you should subscribe. I will recall some more crazy stories that have happened to me. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.